Hi, my name is Peg Anderson, and I am the owner of Anderson & Anderson Insurance. We have offices in Hartington, Allen, and Laurel, Nebraska. What Anderson & Anderson Insurance is I sell property, casualty, and life insurance through our agency. Just a little bit of background, my family started the business, my father did, in 1970. After I graduated from college, I had a job for a while someplace, then I moved back in 1990, slowly got some ownership, purchased the entire business in 2007, and shortly thereafter my husband came back and quit his other business and is working with me also, so it's still a family business. So like I said, our agency sells property, casualty, and life insurance. Most of you probably know what life insurance is. That would be if you die, your policy pays X amount to your family upon your death. But you may not be as familiar with property and the word casualty insurance. So by property insurance, I mean we insure homes, autos, crops, business property, whether it be cars, skid loaders, buildings, for damage to the property. Casualty insurance is when an insurance policy pays on a customer's behalf for a liability claim against them. So a liability claim could be property damage or bodily injury that our insured causes to somebody else. So the most obvious example might be that you have an auto accident and you hit my Ford Explorer. It was your fault. Your insurance policy will pay the liability of paying for my vehicle and possibly paying for my injuries that I have. So that's what I mean by casualty insurance. I am an independent insurance agency. So by that, I mean I represent many different companies. I am not an employee of anyone. I own my own business. I choose to find various different companies that I can represent, and then I sell their policies to a customer. So some of the companies that we represent that you might know would be Progressive Insurance, or you may have heard of Nationwide. They have the commercial Nationwide is on our side. So I gather different insurance companies that I think might have the proper policies for my customers. At any time, I can decide that I don't want to do business with those companies, or those companies could decide they didn't want to do business with me. You also have probably heard of a captive agent, maybe have never heard that word before, but that means that the agent works particularly for that company and that company only. So a good example of that is State Farm. So State Farm insurance agents strictly sell State Farm insurance, and they are employees of State Farm. But in the big picture of it all, me and the fellow State Farm agent are both insurance agents. We both probably have similar amounts of training and both the same type of license to do business within the state of Nebraska. So during my day, what do I do? My day is spent, I am a salesperson, like I said, so probably 50% of my day is spent out visiting with customers, and the other 50% is probably spent within the office every day. And that can vary by salesperson, but that just seems to work for me. So what I do is I'm trying to sell new insurance policies, so get new customers, or I'm servicing an existing policy, or perhaps somebody has a claim and I'm helping them through the claim process. So they just had a car accident and they need to get their auto fixed. I advise them where they could possibly go to get it fixed, or give me your medical bills and we'll submit them to the insurance company and walk them through that process. What does it mean to service an existing customer? By that, I mean people buy new automobiles. They change homes. Their sophomore in high school turns 16 years old and they need to put them on their insurance policy. So an insurance policy is a developing product that we add and delete from through a customer's lifetime. also part of servicing, whether it be a new policy or existing one, is it's my duty to explain the policy to the customer. So when a customer buys a policy, it's truly a contract between the company and that customer, and I'm just the go-between to try to explain to them what that contract says. So I would call myself an educator also, because the better that I can explain the policy that I'm trying to sell to the customer, the better I'm going to be at communicating to them their need to purchase the policy. And also, the more educated the customer is on what they're purchasing, the happier they'll be when they do have a loss, because they'll understand how their policy works, what is covered, what is not covered, and how it is covered. So I consider myself an educator in the process also. Now, some customers don't want to be educated. Some want to be educated a lot. So I try to do my best to let them know what they're purchasing, but I'll admit some people don't take my advice as much as I would like them to. Like I said, my day's 50% in, 50% out, but others are much different. It might depend on their support staff that can help them. My husband, I would say he's a salesman that's probably out visiting with people, not behind a desk, probably 90% of the time. He just has a good coworker that helps him with some of the paperwork. So for those of you that really don't want to be stuck behind a desk, want to go out and visit people, meet new people, I think that insurance sales is a wonderful opportunity. The training that you need, for myself, growing up in a family of insurance, I kind of always thought that I would maybe want to be an insurance salesman. I knew that I had the aptitude for business, so I went to the University of Nebraska, and I have an education, a 4-year degree, a Bachelor of Science, with my major being finance. I picked finance because that's where I got the most insurance classes. But I think any type of business background or business education is wonderful, whether it be marketing, whether it be ag business, whether it be some type of consulting management, I think, and finance. All of those are a really good basis. It's what you see a lot of the salespeople, but we also have retired teachers in our business, used car salesmen in our business. It can be other things. Back in the day, my father became an insurance agent without an education beyond a high school education. In today's world, I think that's probably pretty difficult, unless you just really get a lucky break where somebody plucks you out of a crowd and says, oh, that's a person I think I can teach it to. I think the majority, a 2-year education to a 4-year education. Of course, you can go above, but I'd say a minimum of an associate's to a bachelor's degree is what I'm seeing the most. Besides your base education, the state of Nebraska does require that every agent in the state is a licensed insurance agent. So at the beginning of your career, at some point, most people will go to a class that lasts maybe 2, 3, 4 days and then study for the state exam. Once you pass the state exam, you become a licensed agent. You get a 2-year license. And then every 2 years, you need to have 24 hours of formal education within that 2-year period to be able to renew your license for another 2-year period. There's wonderful classes that are out there, whether it be Northeast Community College or some of your companies also offer classes. I'm sure Wayne State probably does. Right now, unfortunately, a lot of the classes are webinars, but we're still getting our education in. It's still required to renew that license on a 2-year period. If your license is not renewed, you can no longer sell insurance. Some people often ask me what characteristics or skills do they think that they need to be successful in an insurance sales career. I think that the best for salespeople in general is just someone that can go out and talk to people regardless if you know them or not. When I've hired people in our office, I oftentimes have people that will come in and then just shake my hand. I'm Peggy, I'm John Doe, and I'd really like this job. Somebody that can look me in the eye, not be fearful to talk to me, want to get out into your community to meet people. I think those are the characteristics that we look for. Of course, it's the education that I already spoke with, but also just putting your hand out there and be willing to meet people, talk, and learn. With that, I think it's very important to be involved in your community. Whether you are involved in the Knights of Columbus, or whether you are a Boy Scout leader, your church, your Chamber of Commerce, the more people you meet, the more contacts that you have. And sales is all about contacts. Truly, I believe that people really want to do business with people that they know. So if you're willing to get out and meet people, you always have a better chance at making that connection and selling with the customer. And then also a skill, you just have to have good communication skills. So like I said, we are an educator to teach a person what the product is that we're selling. So you have to be able to communicate what the customer's need might be, and effectively have arguments. If they say, oh, I don't think that will ever happen to me, you need to come back and be able to say, well, here are some examples of where our insurance policy would pay. Have you ever thought of this? And be able to have a good back and forth and get a point across and a counterpoint so that you can really visit with your customers. Within the sales, there is, what are you going to have for a beginning salary? Again, it's going to depend on, when I say beginning salary, I'm saying no insurance experience. So let's just say somebody's starting straight out and they want to be a salesperson like I'm talking about. First of all, if you've had any sales experience, whether it be used cars, a shoe salesman, a fertilizer salesman, that's going to help in maybe put you up a little bit higher on pay. But I would say probably in our area of Northeast Nebraska, a really true salesperson starting from scratch would probably start out at maybe $35,000 a year. I'm talking very general here. But most people in my position are not just a straight dollar amount. You probably have the $35,000, we call it a base, meaning your annual pay will never be lower than that base. But then you get paid a percentage of every sale that you make. So if you sell a $1,000 policy, you might get $80 off of that policy. So obviously, the more that you sell, the more that your potential income can be. So the real aggressive ones that are out there selling all the time, they're going to quickly be above their $35,000 to $40,000 base. Again, it's different for everyone, but I think it's not an unrealistic goal within 5 years to make $50,000 to $60,000. And really, the cap is unlimited. I mean, I know there's salesmen out there easily making over $100,000 a year, but those are the aggressive ones. They're the ones out shaking hands, meeting people, and being good communicators. Now, there's also, within our agency, we hire some support staff. Not everybody. There might be people that have a real knowledge for insurance, a real love of insurance, but they don't have that salesmanship. We hire some of those type of people too that are support staff. They're not usually paid on any type of commission basis. They're probably more an hourly wage. And I would say a very, very beginner hourly wage in our area might be $14 to $15 an hour. And again, work up from there with experience. What classes should you take in high school? My own children did this. When I was in high school, I didn't have the opportunities, but now I think most schools do. I think you should take as many business classes as you can. Business, whether it be accounting, economic, just a family science, consumer science type. And because being a salesperson, like I said, your salary can be what you make of it. You're kind of operating your own little business and deciding what I need to make and how I get there. So I think business classes are a must. And the other one, and I don't even think just for salespeople, I just think in general, every high schooler should take a speech class in some respect. I dodged it all the way through high school. I was so scared to do it. I got into college and I was forced to. And now looking back over my college career, I think I got the most out of a speech class than I did probably any other class that I had that wasn't, specific within the business realm. I had been scared to talk in front of people the way that I'm doing right now, but I was in a small speech class. I had to do silly, crazy topics in front of people that I did not know at all. And I just learned how the flow works. And now I actually enjoy speaking in front of people. And then finally, maybe some type of communication class would also be good. Some advice that I have for anyone that may be interested in insurance. Number one, all of you probably either have a parent or a trusted adult that owns an insurance policy of some sort. It might be their home insurance policy, it might be a business, or it might be an auto insurance policy. My recommendation is sometime when your mom or dad or that trusted adult visits with their insurance agent, go on with them and sit down and just see what it's all about. If you guys, I believe you're sophomores, most of you will probably turn 16 at some point here and probably start driving. Your parents have to add you to their driver, as a driver to their auto policy. So you could go on in with your mom or dad or listen on the telephone and see what it involves. See what kinds of questions your agent is asking your parents or your trusted friend, and get inside of an office and just look around a little bit. I think that would be a great example of something that you can do. Also, I have a great website, which I belong to an insurance association that is always promoting insurance careers. And I'll put this up so that you guys can see it. But it is www.insuremycareer.com/home. And this website, if you want to go to it, it talks about all different jobs within the insurance industry. So today I strictly spoke about being a salesperson. But there's all kinds of things. You could be an insurance adjuster. That is the person that when there is a claim, they work with the customer in getting their property fixed or themselves healed. There's companies that we work with, and there's all kinds of jobs within that. Actuarial science, which determines rates. There's underwriters, which quote out premiums for me. There's marketing people that come to my office and try to sell me on their company. So within the insurance industry, the sales thing that I talked about today is just one small aspect. The insurance industry in general is a wonderful opportunity with multifaceted careers within it. So I hope I didn't speak too fast today. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Feel free to get on that website and look around. We're always looking for new, bright, young talent in our insurance industry. Thank you.